Hey everybody. So I said I had one more video that I wanted to get out before the end of the year. This isn't the one that I'm talking about. Hopefully that video is up by the time this one is going up right now. Um, Future Jake, make sure you're working. And past Jake, if you got it done, then good job, man. But anyway, I wanted to make something else for the end of the year as well. So a couple years back, about 4 years ago now, I made a video where I did like a little recap of like a little self assessment of 2020 and just kind of like going into the new year. Uh, that was back when I was 20 years old. Now I'm 24, and I wanted to do it again because it's been an interesting year, to say the least. It's been it's been one hell of a ride, to say the least. It hasn't been a bad year. I would definitely not say that it has been a bad year because far from it. Um, it hasn't been the best year either, but it's a year that has brought a lot of introspection, and it has brought a lot of thoughts to my mind. Um, when I began this year 2024, I started a new job because on top of doing YouTube, I've been doing other work as well. And I thought to myself, this is going to be the year of profit. Starting a new job, we're going to go work as hard as we can. And I was even doing multiple jobs at the time. We're gonna do like as much as we can, and we're gonna like edit videos, edit as much as we can, and keep on like making stuff and all this other stuff. We're gonna keep on like growing our portfolio. And now that I've come to the end of the year, I look back and I think to myself, yeah, that was a success. The year of profit has been a success because I now going into another full-time job, now I'm looking to earn even more and get to a point where I'm able to do that and YouTube as well. And with YouTube as well, it has felt like I've really been making quite a name for myself because the video why V works and the Soul Survivor doesn't has done insanely well, more like way better than I thought it would from just like an idea standpoint alone. And it's kind of insane to me just how even today it's constantly going up, and I can only imagine it's only going to get even more. And that's insane to me. And I that was absolutely like it made me so happy in that moment. Now, despite of which, the year of profit, while that has been successful in the definition that I laid out for myself at the beginning of the year, it is not exactly transferred into. It does not exactly mean the year of happiness. And like I said, it hasn't been the worst year ever. There's definitely a lot of stuff that happened this year that I'm very happy about. Um, Being able to go to a lot of the conventions that I've gone to. For those of you who don't know, I'm also a cosplayer. I do a lot of cosplays on my Instagram. If you guys want to check that out, I'll have that in the description as well. Starting a new podcast, which hopefully we'll have the second episode out by the time this is out, and a lot of passions just kind of being able to resurface a lot more. But it's also kind of left a little bit of a very, I guess, a very tired feeling from just a lot of fatigue in general. And maybe this is just kind of like the act of how I've been feeling growing up. I've just kind of been getting this aging feeling of sometimes I want to keep on working on different projects, working on different things, playing new games, watching new movies, and then sometimes I'm just like, man, I'm worn out, you know? but I kind of get that feeling of I need to push myself more in this direction. But also, I feel like if I excel too much in one thing, I don't really excel that much in another. And I don't want this video to be like all poor me, because that's not the point. I'm making this just to kind of give myself some basis to look back on, because I'll look back on old videos, that type of thing. But it's just it's not it hasn't been easy for a lot of people, no matter what, and it's put in perspective a lot of things going forward, of just kind of having, because I've always had like this independent mindset of going forward, and I think that kind of comes down to how I was raised, and how just going forward of just trying to make a name from social media in general, which I still do want to do, and I still do enjoy making these videos. I never want to say that I don't, because it's just a very competitive feeling, and I think a lot of it kind of comes down to sometimes when it comes just seeing the copious amount of like negativity on here on the internet, and it has kind of pushed me to really want to just like take a break from the internet every once in a while, because that's kind of a natural thing. You really take breaks from the internet, because if you spend too long on it, you become miserable. And I've just noticed that that's kind of been the case. I feel like that feeling has gotten stronger this year as well. Um, and it's just something that I kind of want to do a little bit more myself, because I've scrapped a lot of different ideas, where just because, and I get it, I'm the mad Italian, right? I made that name. I made the whole purpose of that is that, that stems from the whole idea that I've had. I get angry, I get mad, and sometimes like I'll get mad, and I've had to really rethink a lot of people that I've known. Some people, because I've met a lot of great people, but I've also come to the realization of others who I need to come to the realization that they're not good for me. And I think that's a very hard realization to kind of get through, because sometimes you don't want to be alone. It's it's something that I think a lot of people, and a lot of guys especially, and some girls, don't get me wrong, but like there's just so much of like this inner kind of like hatred going on, this like war, or what they say it's a war. It's really not. It's really just a bitterness that is building up with all types of people, and it's once again just something that I think stems from just being online for a little too long, and things that I think need to be toned down a little bit. So, but even then, like, you kind of start to lose sight of that a little bit when you, and I think there is a very discouraging, because there's always like the aggressors on one side, the aggressors on the other side, and then there's just all the people in the middle that kind of get caught in the crossfire. That's just kind of something that I've noticed when it comes down to a lot of these like wars, I guess, that happen. And it's not just like the whole thing that goes on with like men and women. It's also another thing with like different communities, being part of a lot of different communities, from like the cosplay community to the Warhammer community to uh, all the different types. Because I'm a nerd, man. I'm into a lot of stuff. And just being part of a lot of those different communities, it hurts to really see everything just kind of get just has to see people get absolutely so mad about different things, because there's criticism, and then there's just being an asshole. And in most cases, that's what happens because when you critique something, you need to come in with facts. You need to come in with different types. We had with the takes, with sensibility, but also in a way where someone can understand where you're coming from, even if they disagree with you. But most people don't want to do that. They just want to yell at. They just want to yell. They don't want. They don't want a solution. They don't want a critique. They just want to be angry. And I think that's kind of the thing. I've noticed myself. I've kind of. I wouldn't say I've gone that far. I've scrapped a few ideas, but like, I want the anger in my videos and in my content to be a part of like a comedic effect, you know? And I'm hoping that with the points that I've made, because I get comments like it all the time, and you leave comments however you want. I don't give a shit, right? I always appreciate a comment, whether it's positive or negative. But sometimes I just see some of the things, and like even the ones that agree with me, like the misinterpretations are wild, and I'll laugh at them. They're not like bothering me in any way in that case. It's just interesting to see how like a lot of misinterpretations that can be seen, and this is from all sides of the spectrum. So, and it's I've just noticed that just both in person with the people I talk to in person and online, and also with a lot of stuff like there. I don't know. I just kind of been feeling like I've needed to be more self dependent than ever, and it's just kind of I've never exactly been the best when it comes to a lot of social interactions as well. So I guess while and my mom tells me a lot about this too. Um, I guess when it comes to a lot of social aspect stuff, I've never really like thrived a lot in that, and I think that comes from a lot of stuff that's in my past. So I actually a video that I am hoping to get done or to have at least in the works this year. I've want to branch out and I want to talk about because I obviously have a passion for video games and movies and media, but I do also want to talk about um, more personal stories. I want to talk about growing up with a short temper and growing up with anger issues because I think that's something that is very often misinterpreted a lot, and I think a lot of people that go through a lot of those issues they don't really have that type of feeling. And while I could just like turn on a camera like this and talk about stuff like that, like do the moist critical thing, right? Uh, I want to put effort into it. I want to try to like do something like that, and that's the thing. That's like the competitive nature of YouTube, of just like videos every single day, every single week to collect the ad revenue, that type of shit. But it's also just the urge. Like sometimes I do just want to do that, but at the same time, I want to put effort into the things I'm making, which like, oh, you stand out so much, Jake. You're such a fucking like, don't have to kiss my ass in that. You're such a kiss ass, right? Don't. I don't know. Once again, I'm making this video just because I want to have a basis for me to look back on how I was. But I also want to make this for anyone else who's also feeling the same way. And like I said before, going back to the whole anger issues things, like, yeah, I named myself Mad Italian, right? I did that because I thought to myself, I should like draw strengths in what others might consider a weakness. It's like, oh, I have short temper. Like I am the mad Italian. That's like the whole thing. And I'm like, I can make this persona a thing. And I think it's somewhat like people are, who knows? Maybe we'll get to 10K subscribers at some point. I'm still working away. I still want to keep going, but at the same time anger has really played a very big part of my life. Anger issues, getting mad, like just because people have always found it funny, and sometimes I can look back and laugh at that too. And sometimes I think to myself, yeah, it was their fault until I got angry, and then it became my fault because that's always been the basis of like any anger management thing. But you know what? I think to myself, look at this year and look at the good times, look at the rough times, and just look at the process that has been made. Because a lot of it has been made. A lot of it, I can't say that I've like failed. and that's something that I can really be happy about, is that I feel like I've really kind of been starting a journey here. I feel like there's definitely a lot that I've learned throughout the year, and there's a lot that I really want. I hope, but also am but I also think there is a lot of others that have made mistakes in the past, like the copiates. Like, not it wasn't even this year, but I mean, hell, it's like every year now. So it's just all the shit, like from Hollywood to YouTube to like online stuff, like all the people that are coming out as like absolute shitheads, with fucking groomers and like sexual predators, all that shit, dude. Like, it's kind of a big warning as well, because this is something that I've always enjoyed doing, but it's just one of those things where it's like, god damn, man, like how hard is it to not do shit like that? And I think that kind of serves as just like a reminder to a lot of people, because I see a lot of other creatives in the same position, just kind of making a lot of these types of making content like mine, and it's like they're kind of leaving, and now it's our time. Let's kind of like, just pave the way, and let's like they've kind of had their time. They're retiring, they're leaving now. Now it's our turn to step in, and some of them are leaving on good terms, and some of them leaving on really bad terms. So let's have them move on, and now it's our turn, and let's take the mistakes that they did as reminders to not be a bunch of fucking weirdos. So I don't know. That's just my take. If you guys made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.